Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Supernatural, episode 1215, titled Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, which premiered Thursday, March 9, 2017 on the CW. So guys, huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, go do so first, and then come back to see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to read those through. And otherwise, let's start the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, this is taking place 2 weeks since the previous episode, since 1214. And the episode reminder is on hellhounds. I think it's been a while since we've seen them, or I had a case to dealing with them. So there is that. Now, episode breakdown. I've managed to catch 2 storylines going on in this episode. First one being hunting the hellhound. Second one having to deal with Castiel trying to track down Kelly Klein. So the first storyline deals with hunting down the hellhound. We find out that Sam and Dean find a hellhound case where the victims didn't sell their souls. Turns out that the hellhound is Ramsey, and she's considered the hellhound, a hellhound that Lucifer personally rescued, and she only listens to Lucifer. And she was set free, and now she's wreaking havoc, and the sole reason she's still after the one girl, in this case, Gwen, is because of a personal vendetta, because Gwen managed to fight off Ramsey for a moment, and in doing so, it kind of bruised Ramsey's ego, and now she's out for blood, if you will. So there's that. In the end, you do see Ramsey be killed, and you do see the return of the hellhound specs that Sam and Dean first created in episode 814. Second storyline deals with Castiel's search for Kelly Klein. On this journey, he discovers that Kelly has found herself in the arms of Dagon, one of the princes of hell, or princess, if you were, of hell. And also, Castiel runs into a brother, an angelic brother of his, so that causes him to contemplate getting help from heaven and possibly returning back home in that sense. The last scene actually shows Castiel at the park that holds the opening to hell. There's that. Tidbits-wise, though, we get many allusions of Crowley having plans for Lucifer. There's that. He seems to have quite a firm hold on Lucifer as well. And we also see Sam telling Dean about how he has been getting cases from the British men and letters for the last 2 weeks. So all the hunts they've been doing back to back to back is because he's been getting it from them. And Tally, as I said, though, hellhound named Ramsey was killed by Sam in this episode after Ramsey destroyed the Impala for a bit. So there's that. Moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it was the fact that Crowley is actually 10 steps ahead of Lucifer. When Lucifer got out of his chains, I was a little worried, saying, oh crap, maybe Crowley didn't account for someone getting the key or someone backstabbing him and stuff like that. But then to have Lucifer have his little power trip, show the wings, punching Crowley a bit, and then to have Crowley rein in that collar and cause more pain on Lucifer and reveal the fact that all the physical chains he was in was just for show. He's actually trapped in his vessel. Some of the runes and everything, it really showed that Crowley did really think ahead. And I was shocked by that, just because sometimes Crowley is all talk, but it's always impressive where you actually see proof of it backed up, in a sense. And I'll get back to that in a moment. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one, guys, I have to say, it pretty much appeared right off the bat. The first moment we see Sam and Dean in the episode, they're returning to the bunker. And first things first, Dean is carrying a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. And I couldn't believe it. Not only was that's the first time we ever seen the Winchesters with that type of weapon, but also Dean makes the comment while holding the bat that, quote unquote, Dad loved this thing. And as you guys probably should know, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I guess, is a recurring character on The Walking Dead as Negan, who is iconic for his barbed wire baseball bat. And since Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays John Winchester, aka Papa Winchester, I found it to be absolutely amazing that they made a reference to that And so it wasn't a crossover reference. No, it was just a little nod to the fact that one of their own is playing now this iconic villain on, or an iconic character on another show. And then when the brothers left, the camera zoomed in on the barbed baseball bat on the table. And I was like, I can't believe they did that. I mean, they really put focus on that connection there. I loved it. It was just like that. That's, no matter what, that's one of my top favorites. It's like, I always love little things like that, little nods to like either past works or current things happening in the world or in show business and stuff like that. And especially ones that I recognize and I can actually say like, hey, I know that. Then like, that's great. So this one, I loved it for sure. Next favorite moment is connected to my shocking favorite moments. It's the fact that Crowley had the upper hand against Lucifer. We found out that Crowley managed to get any of the runes that were on the cage put on the meat suit that he had Lucifer forced into. So now Lucifer pretty much belongs to Crowley. And it was just, I had to give it to Crowley. It's like, bravo. I mean, like, sometimes he's all talk and you don't know if he's really gonna do what he says, or if he really has the bark with his bite type, or really has the bite with his bark. And it was just really great to see Lucifer, this all-imposing, powerful nemesis, be brought down to his knees by Crowley, who he's always belittled and underestimated. And it was interesting to see me root for a bad guy in that sense. I mean, out of the two, I guess Crowley is my favorite bad guy that I would want to win against the two of them. So there's that. But I really like that whole display about it, how Crowley wasn't even worried when Lucifer was out of his throne, but like he was prepared for it. He knew the possibilities of what could go down, and he took precautions for it. And I really like that. I definitely do. So moving on to the next favorite moment is the fact that Dean purposely puts himself as Crowley's partner and all that stuff they brought up. They're always talking about how over the years they've changed to the point that now they're accepting each other's help, when before they would have just been at each other's heads. You know, that they've had their team-ups when he was Demon Dean, and then they're always just making these innuendos about rubbing off on each other in their own thing. So I thought it was amusing, just the whole dynamic between Dean and Crowley, how Crowley's kind of mocking Dean, and then Dean's making these comparisons and stuff like that. I really like it. It's always interesting to see the two of them interacting with each other, and just in what way we're going to see them interacting with each other. If they're going to be angry with each other, if they're going to be like snarky, if they're going to be, oh, come on, help me out. It's like, no, I don't, like that type of stuff. So it's always interesting to see that. Moving on to top 3 peeve moments. I don't believe I have a peeve. I don't really remember a peeve. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. Moving on to what will I remember most when I look back on this episode. I think I'm going to remember it for the Hellhound, for sure. I guess I could also remember it for the fact that Crowley owned Lucifer. Like, Lucifer got owned pretty badly for that. So I guess there's that. Random questions. Off the top of my head, I don't really have any random questions, or except for the fact that it's now, this one's coming to me, but will Castiel actually get the support of heaven in their quest to find Kelly Klein and take care of Lucifer's offspring, or are they going to turn their back on him when the job's done and not fulfill their end of essentially the arrangement that Castiel thinks they're going to be making? Because it would be nice to have Castiel be welcomed back into heaven. I mean, obviously, I don't want him to stay there often, because then that means he's not with the Winchesters. But you could tell that Castiel not being able to go home or not being accepted back home it doesn't sit well with him. So it'll be interesting, or I hope he can get at least that sort of thing sorted out. So there is that. But moving on, let's talk about predictions, guys, very quickly. Alright, so based off the prediction, the promo for 12/16 showed that we're on a 2-week hiatus, I believe, because it's not coming back until March 30th. And it looks like the British Men of Letters has a werewolf case, which has Mick Davies tagging along when Dean calls it easy. Anything but from the looks of the short snippets. But it looks like we see Claire Novak again. So there is that. Now, based off the synopsis for 12/16, it reads that Sam and Dean let Mick Davies tag along on a case as they search for a werewolf. The 3 men run into Claire Novak, also working the hunt. However, the reunion is short-lived after Claire is bitten, and the brothers race to find a way to help her before she turns. There's a timer, and I was not expecting that. That's the first time I've read the synopsis, and like, wow. Makes you kind of wonder if we're going to see Garth, though, because as you remember, Garth is still a werewolf, and as far as I know, he's still alive. So I guess that's another prediction there. If they can't save Claire from turning into a werewolf, maybe they might send her towards Garth, and maybe he can help her out. And then it's also interesting to see which type of werewolf that they're going to be dealing with as well. So there's that. And yeah, I think that's about everything. I don't have any other predictions aside from that, though. But yeah, so what do you guys think of the episode? What do you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, predictions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. Go check me out there. Also connected is my WordPress account. It's more organized over there, but it's still a work in progress. But everything I post online is connected through that. So if you want, go check it out there to see what I have up. And also my Livejournal entry account. That will provide you with a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, as I watch the episode for the first time, included with any of my in-moment thoughts or questions I had while watching it. So the link for that is down below as well. That's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you come back in 2 to 3 weeks to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.